Guys. Okay, so I'm going to go over the PowerPoint that I sent out today on Google Classroom that's got the extras, and this is the Holocaust. Most of you already have at least some background knowledge about the Holocaust, and I really hate that I'm having to teach it this way because this is one of the topics that I really enjoy talking to you in person about and sharing experiences with you. Something that was really cool, probably, I don't know, I guess it's been 2, maybe 3 years ago now, that I went to the Social Studies Conference in Greensboro, and we had the opportunity to meet and speak with not just a Holocaust survivor, but she was a Holocaust survivor of the twins study, because she and her twin sister, who were, I'm wanting to say, 8 years old at the time, lived through the Holocaust. Not only lived through the Holocaust, but also experienced life in Auschwitz. And as we'll talk about today, Auschwitz is one of the most notorious of the death camps or labor camps, whichever one you want to call it, during the Holocaust. We know that over 1 million people were executed and killed at Auschwitz. It was one of the biggest killing camps in probably all of Europe during the Holocaust. So to, number one, listen to her story, number two, her be alive to tell that story, number three, to be a survivor of the twin studies was pretty incredible. If you ever want to get her book, she even signed it for me. If you ever want to get her book and read it, and it is a quick read, it's a fascinating story, and I would love to loan it out to you. You could also probably find it on Amazon. And if I think of her name, I'll share it with you in just a second. But let's go ahead and talk about how everything got started to begin with. Again, make sure that you're getting the extra that's highlighted in blue for you. So everything kind of starts small. It's almost like they're taking kind of baby steps, and if it happens slowly and gradually, people aren't as inclined to start getting like super worried about it. But if something was to change like overnight, then you might see mass chaos and panic break out. But because these changes happen slowly through the mid-1930s to the late 1930s, a lot of people really have the conception that this is temporary, it's going to change, things are going to get better, but we'll discuss that in just a minute. Now, the idea of anti-Semitism or anti-Jewish feelings had been around for hundreds of thousands of years. I mean, it's in the Bible. It's been around, especially in the Middle East and in Europe, for a very, 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 very long time. So this is not a new concept. It's not a new idea. Hitler and the Nazi Party are not the first ones to come up with these feelings. There's a lot of, which this is true for any race. It doesn't really matter. Any race, ethnicity always has some type of stigma attached to it. And for the Jewish community, the stigmas, and again, these stigmas have been around since biblical times, since AD, is the idea that Jews they're liars, they're thieves, they're money hungry, they're not honest, you shouldn't do business with them, they're dirty. So these things are what Hitler and the Nazi Party are kind of using as ammunition. And I told you the other day that they just want somebody or something to blame for why Germany's in the situation that they are, and that's an easy target. But Hitler goes beyond that. He says it's not just Jews, but it's what he calls undesirables, all undesirables, whether you're of any other race besides Caucasian, because he said the perfect race was the Aryan race, which is blonde hair, blue eyes, and Caucasian skin, which the irony of it is that he is not all of those things, and he blames his troubles on, I want to say it's his mom's side, his grandmother on his mom's side, that he blames his troubles on because she is of Jewish ethnicity. So Hitler talks about all these things in his book, Mein Kampf, and again, that's more German, you need to learn. Mein Kampf means my struggle, to where he calls for the unification of all of Germany. He asked that Germans unite, and they unite together on a common front, and try and get Germany back to the idea of, if we had this master race, this perfect race, that Germany would be better. They would get back to being this world power like they once were. Now, here's something interesting to think about. That Germany is doing this, but also Japan. Japan has this same ideology that there is a one perfect Asian race, and Japan believes, again, because they're this island nation that's been isolated, that they are the superior Asian race, and have kind of a very similar concepts. So anyway, keep that in mind for later on. So again, baby steps are taken. So Hitler comes in power in 1933. We fast forward just a little bit, 1935, the Nuremberg laws are established, which pretty much take away all civil rights from Jewish citizens. They can't hold office, they can't vote, no intermarriage between a Jew and a German. They can't, I don't remember if I said vote already or not, but anyway. So basic civil rights are being denied to citizens, and it, like I said, as time goes on, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And so Kristallnacht, another German word you need to know, means night of the broken glass. Kristallnacht happens in 1938, to where Germans, the Gestapo, German police, the Nazi party go and pretty much raid all Jewish businesses and homes. They claim that they are looking for weapons, but that is not the case. They're basically looking for an excuse to come in, trash your home, take your valuables, and they're doing this to synagogues as well. Synagogue or Jewish churches. So even no place is sacred, no place is holy, no place is off limits during this, and this is really starts to shake people's core, to realize that this thing is actually way bigger than we thought that it was. Here's the question: why are people not getting out? Why are they not leaving? And again, I kind of said that already. People really believe that things were going to get better, that this wasn't really going to be that bad. It was temporary. It's almost like a storm. Just let this storm blow over, things will get better, and everything will go back to how it was. I mean, that's honestly what it was. And also think about this. Nobody wants to pack up and leave. Nobody wants to leave friends and family behind. Nobody wants to leave businesses and wealth. And if this is the only home you've ever known, it's not going to be that easy just to pack up and leave. There are people that are able to get out. Some do leave. The other thing is people are having a hard time getting out because they can't, visas are being limited. You can't leave the country with more than $5. I mean, just absurd things to try and stop a mass exodus of people. So only your wealthy, only your powerful are able to actually try and get out during this time period. We know somewhere around 350,000 are leaving, and that's not just Germany, that's Austria, Czechoslovakia, Poland, surrounding countries where people are leaving as well. So don't think that number's coming just from Germany, because it's not. Very famous, prominent people, you see Albert Einstein is on your PowerPoint, are examples of individuals that are trying to get out during this time period that do. And again, big question, why are they not leaving? They don't want to leave family and friends behind. They don't want to leave their wealth, their businesses, their life. And again, most people thought it would legit get better, but it doesn't. It gets worse. Because 1939, Hitler's going to ramp up his what they call final solution. And when he does that, that's when he puts in place the idea that he's going to eradicate Jews and all undesirables from Europe. They meet at the Wannsee Conference, January of 1942, to put up concentration camps. There are several that are up and going already, but more about to be put in place. Concentration camps are put up all across Europe. They're sent to these concentration camps and labor camps, and they're pretty much free labor to start mass producing wartime materials, because again, the Holocaust is going on the inside, World War II is happening on the outside. So these concentration camps are pretty much slave labor camps to where they are mass producing weapons for war. People are dying because of disease, malnutrition, they're limiting food, they're limiting supplies. I mean, you're lucky if maybe you got 2 meals. And when I say meals, I don't really mean like meals. I mean like you're getting dirty water and maybe a piece of bread for maybe lunch and breakfast tops. But it's really bad. People fighting over food. Again, people dying from disease, malnutrition, because they're getting little to no food and they're fighting over what little food they can get. No supplies is wanting to be spent on these individuals inside the labor camps. People are being killed and experimented upon. Why? Because they feel like they're dehumanizing them. They're shaving their head. They're taking their clothes. They're making it to where if they don't feel like they're dealing with a human being, they feel like they can treat them more like an animal. And that's exactly how these soldiers inside these concentration camps are treating these people. They're not treating them like people, they're treating them like animals. So when they go in, they're shaving their hair, they're taking their clothes, they're making them put on uniforms, they're delousing them, spraying them for lice. And even some are going straight to gas chambers, and they are eliminating them in mass numbers. All right, that's a lot for today, and I realized the other day that I can't put up long videos, and you probably don't want to sit there for a long time either, so I'll get back with you tomorrow. Let's hit the pause button.